Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the beginning of my Marvel HeroClix House of X unboxing series. So, if you've been following this channel since, say, mid 2019, you're probably aware that I'm a big fan of the House of X miniseries, as well as its subsequent tie-in ongoing titles from Marvel. Well, of course, we could do the popularity. WizKids basically said, "Hey, WizKids," or Marvel said to WizKids, "Let's do a House of X based set, HeroClix set." And so now we have it. So, for those unaware, House of X sets a new status quo for the X-Men, wherein Magneto and Professor X have basically taken the mutant island Krakoa and they've turned it into a mutant homeland. All mutants are welcome. The two of them, as well as various other normally heroes and villains, sit on the ruling council of the island. All mutants have diplomatic immunity, and Krakoa offers 3 miracle drugs to the rest of the world. Basically, it's kind of a, hey, take if you want these, you have to recognize that we're actually a sovereign nation. These 3 miracle drugs, one of which basically cures is a super antibacterial, super antibiotic, basically. That's what I meant to say. Another one heals diseases of the mind, and the last one adds 5 years to human lifespan. So they're kind of big deals, you know. Many countries have said, yeah, okay, we're in. The UN recognizes Krakoa, so on and so forth. Anywho, let's move on, however, to the clicks, shall we? And sadly, I will say that we won't be seeing unboxing of my entire haul of the set, because one of the 2 cases I ordered has not arrived at the shop I ordered it from yet. So that's a thing I have to deal with. It should be I should have it though by Wednesday at the latest. So I would say Thursday at the latest. I'll have a highlight video showcasing the any new rares, super rares, and chases or primes I pull out of that second case. All right, so let's see what we get in the first booster, shall we? Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Some boosters are what are referred to as team boosters and basically have a theme team built into the booster itself, making sealed a little bit easier, actually. Anyway, oh my, we got something cool right off. Holy shit, we got something really cool right off the bat. Oh my god! Okay, okay. Ooh, okay, alright, well, oh wow, that was unexpected for the first booster. Okay, alright, we got Psylocke, we got Trinary from X-Men Red. She has appeared in some of the House of X, post-House of X stuff. We got Tempest, cool. We got Elixir, also cool. And the figure that basically had me practically crapping myself when I realized what it was, the super rare Prime Apocalypse. We will be looking at him last out of this this 5 booster. Okay. Now the way we do this is basically I open up Especially when it's just one case, it goes in the order 7, 6, 7. So we'll start by opening the first 7 boosters of this brick, then the last 3 of this one, and the first 3 of this one, followed by the last 7 of this one. Alright. So we got Psylocke, we got Trinary, we got Elixir, we got Tempest. And you can't really see them because for some reason, I don't know what happened. Usually the camera got the camera at the right angle. Anyway. Alright, so starting off with Psylocke. And that's this is the Quenon Psylocke. She comes in at 50 points, has the X-Men team ability as well as the Hand, Hellions, X-Men, Assassin, Martial Arts, and Spy keywords. Taking a quick look at her dial. We got a few clicks of special speed power, Jump Little Caterpillar, Fly, giving her stealth, sidestep, and the flight ability, but passengers she can't carry any passengers. This is then followed up by Flurry. On attack, we open up with a special power called Psionic Katana, which is her incapacitate and mind control. And once per turn, after using either one and hitting, after resolution, she may use the other one at no cost, which that's always nice. It's followed up by Blade's Claw's Fangs, and we've got some super senses on defense, followed by combat reflexes, and a full dial of shape change. Okay, not too shabby. Next up, we've got Trinary. Now, Trinary, this is her HeroClix debut. She was introduced in the X-Men Red ongoing a few years back after Jean Grey's return. She has, I want to say it's tech control abilities, if I remember correctly. Anyway, so she comes in at 30 points and has the X-Men team ability, as well as the Excalibur, X-Men, and Spy keywords. She also has a trait, Please Don't Blow Her Up. When establishing theme teams, you may choose a friendly character with the robot keyword of 50 points or less. That character doesn't count against theme teams. Okay. Looking at her dial, it's actually rather short. We got 3 clicks of sidestep, a couple clicks of incapacitate, a few clicks of inertial deflection, a couple clicks of the special damage power Finesse Technopathy. Finesse Technopathy grants her outwit, and when she uses it, she may count range and line of fire from a friendly character with the robot keyword. Okay. Then she gets on her last click, she has a click of regular outwit. All right, for 30 points, not bad. Next up, we've got Elixir. Elixir is this is actually the second time in Clicks. Relating to House of X, he's one of the 5. We'll talk about them here in a second. Probably more with Tempest. He's also been a member of various X-Men and X-Men lineups, as well as Wolverine's X-Force lineup way back during the Messiah era. The post-decimation, pre-AVX, basically. But he's a healer. But he comes in at 40 points, has the X-Men team ability, as well as the Hellfire Club, New Mutants, the 5, X-Force, and X-Men keywords. We also have a trait, the 5, Elixir. When a friendly character is chosen for the Krakoan Revival trait, after resolutions, heal each character adjacent to them 1 click. Okay. And we'll get into the Krakoan Revival trait as soon as we get a figure with the Krakoan Revival trait. Anyways, looking at Elixir's dial, we've got 3 clicks of sidestep to start off with, followed by a couple clicks of stealth. That 12 attack to begin with is really nice. On defense, we open up with some invulnerability, followed by some regeneration. In fact, if you regen him from his first regen click, potentially speaking, you could get him back up to top dial. On damage, he opens up with a special power, Omega level healing. Support, but Elixir and his target may be adjacent to opposing characters. When a friendly character uses the X-Men team ability, increase the D6 roll by +2. Now, to explain, the X-Men team ability reads as follows. As a power, choose an adjacent friendly character that can use this team ability and heal that character 1 click and roll a d6. On a 1 through 4, that character is dealt 1 unavoidable damage. Then after the Omega level healing clicks, we get a couple clicks of exploit weakness and 4 damage. Because not only can he heal, but he can also cause damage, as he showed in X-Force when he basically gave Vanisher a tumor to force him to work with the team. Alright, next up we've got Tempest. Tempest was introduced, I want to say in the, it was after the, I think it was after post-AVX, but she has time travel abilities. She comes in at 50 points, has the X-Men team ability as well as the 5 and X-Men keywords. Does it look for the 5? Yeah, he got the 5. Okay. We got 2 traits. The 5, Tempest. When a friendly character is chosen for the correct owner revival trait, opposing characters can't use prob until the end of your next turn. Okay, alright. Then we get Unstuck in Time. Prob, but may use it any number of times per turn, targeting a different character each time. When she uses it, except the first time this turn, after the resolution, roll a d6. On a 1 or 2, deal her 1 unavoidable damage, and remove it from the map. If you do, at the beginning of your next turn, an opponent chooses a character on the map, place her adjacent to that character. Okay, alright, interesting. Now, looking at her dial, we get a couple clicks of phasing, followed by a few clicks of sidestep. We get some incapacitate, followed by pulse wave. We get some energy deflection to start with, and on damage, we get some late dial perplex. Okay, alright, not too shabby. And with probability control, that's nice. Alright, so let's take a look now at Apocalypse. Man, that sculpt looks so good. And I'll be completely honest, this is the first Apocalypse figure I've ever had in Clicks. There have been Apocalypse figures in the past, but this is the first one I've actually managed to get my hands on. So Apocalypse comes in at 250 points, 150 points, or 100 points. Has no team ability, but he has the Horseman, Armor, Deity, Past, and Ruler keywords. Okay, so this is classic Apocalypse. We've also got 4 traits. First off is the Horseman of Apocalypse. At the beginning of the game, you may choose up to 4 friendly characters, each of 50 points or less, and choose a different effect below for each. This game, the chosen characters have the Horseman keyword and their chosen effect. War, Super Strength, Pestilence, Poison, Famine, adjacent opposing characters can't be healed, Death, Exploit Weakness. Next up we have Behind the Scenes. Apocalypse can't be targeted by opposing characters 5 or more squares away. Okay. That's followed by Celestial Tech. Apocalypse has Protected Mind Control, Outwit, and Penetrating Psychic Blast. As a free action, choose a standard power or the Colossal ability. Apocalypse can use the chosen power or ability until your next turn. Finally, Remake the World to My Vision. Friendly characters with the Horseman keyword can use Steel Energy. Okay, alright. There's a quick look at his dial, and what a dial. That's 10 clicks. He's at 250 points, that's 10 clicks. So we get a long chunk of charge, then we get a couple clicks of sidestep, a couple clicks of flurry, a click of stealth. We get a little more than a few clicks of super strength, a few clicks of quake, and then on the last click we get quake again. He's indomitable, as he should be, built-in willpower. We open up with a few clicks of invincible, followed by a few impervious, followed by a few of invulnerability. Damage-wise, we open up with outwit. Then we get a few clicks here and there of exploit weakness, and with outwits peppered between where they show up. And keep in mind, since his Remake the World to My Vision trait says friendly characters with the Horseman keyword can use Steel Energy, and not other friendly characters. He basically has Steel Energy as well. But that is Apocalypse, and holy crap! This is classic Apocalypse. So yeah. All right. I mean, there's not much that can top that. I can think of something that definitely can, a few things that definitely can. But yeah, that's wow! Right off the bat, we got Apocalypse. We get Prime Apocalypse, the super rare Prime. Whew. Okay. All right. And I mentioned the team booster thing earlier. To a degree, most boosters in the set are going to be team boosters, just because, I mean, it's a friggin' X-Men set. So, you know. Anyway, so second booster we've got Bishop, we've got Sunspot, Shard, that's right, Bishop's sister, Shard, the hologram before he gets her own figure. Which, honestly, I'm fine with that. I got Wolverine. And we got Rogue. Okay. And we also got a Wolverine team-up card. And the team-up card is as shown in, as utilized in Justice League Unlimited. Those are back, and I'm honestly really stoked about it because I think it's a really cool. I think it's a neat addition to the game. So yeah. Anyway. Alright, so we're going to start off with Bishop. This is the non-prime version. The common prime is also Bishop. It's Bishop from the animated series. Not a bad set. It should also be noted that this set was supposed to be the beginning of a new scale for Clix. Slightly larger sculpts. Anyway, Bishop comes in at 60 points, has the X-Men team ability, as well as the Hellfire Club, Marauders, X-Force, X-Men, Detective, Future, and Police keywords. We get 2 traits. First off is Absorb Energy. When he's targeted by a ranged attack after resolutions, heal him 1 click and remove an action token from him. And that's just when he's targeted. So after the attack is made, whether he's hit or not, if he's taken any damage, let's say he takes 3 damage from the attack. Well, then basically only took 2. And if he has any action tokens on him, oh, yeah, remove 1. Then Death and Disappearance Investigations is the other trait. When a standard friendly character with the X-Men keyword is KO'd, Bishop can use probability control until the end of your next turn. Okay, alright. Now, looking at his dial, get a couple clicks of running shot, followed by a few clicks of sidestep. We open up with a couple clicks of penetrating psychic blast on attack, and that's all he's got, sadly. He's got Indomitable, as he should. A couple clicks of toughness, followed by a few clicks of super senses. And then a couple clicks about wit. Okay, alright. Not the biggest fan about wit on Bishop, but, I mean, it's not to say he's not, I don't think he's smart, it's just, well, I guess yeah. I don't mind, actually, I don't mind outwit on him. But, yeah. Next up, we got Sunspot. Roberto DaCosta, founding member of the New Mutants. Would later become an Avenger. Would later buy AIM. He's been part of the Hellfire Club. Yeah, he's kind of been... For being as part of all those things, it's surprising how big of a deal he isn't as a character. So Sunspot comes in at 35 points, has the X-Men team ability, as well as the Hellfire Club, New Mutants, X-Force, and X-Men keywords. Again, his dial, kind of standard really. We get a couple of clicks of charge, a couple of clicks of sidestep, pulse wave, followed by super strength, combat reflexes, followed by willpower, leadership, followed by empower. Yeah, I mean, this is the low-level version, basically. This is pre-Avengers. This is pre-Avengers Sunspot, clearly. But yeah, he as you might be able to guess by the name, his powers are related to the sunlight. He actually had a really neat arc, and he's had a really neat arc so far in New Mutants. In the first few issues, he went to this Shi'ar space. Him and the rest of the team went to Shi'ar space with the Starjammers to find Cannonball, his best friend, and drag him back to Krakoa. Along the way, the New Mutants got arrested. They kind of made enemies out of the not so much enemies, frenemies out of the Starjammers. They got, like I said, they got arrested. Sunspot hired the worst lawyer in space, because of course he did. But Cannonball's wife, Smasher, of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, managed to commute their sentence, and then Sunspot met and fell in love with Deathbird. Because someone with a name like Deathbird is totally someone you should fall for. Okay, I kind of hurt myself with that one, but hey, not the point. All right, moving on to Shard. Like I mentioned previously, Shard is Bishop's younger sister. Generally speaking, she's only been shown in either flashbacks or as a hologram that Bishop had for a while. So Shard comes in at 45 points, has the X-Men and PD team abilities, as well as the X-Factor, X-Men, Future Police, and Robot keywords. We have a trait, holographic sentience and photonic absorption. Energy shield deflection. When Shard is targeted by a range attack after resolutions, choose one. Heal one click. She can use range combat expert until the end of your turn. Okay, alright, not too shabby. Looking at our dial, we've got some phasing because, hologram. Some sidestep. We get some incapacitate. We get a few clicks. She's got Indomitable because she's, hologram. We get a couple clicks of, or a few clicks of super senses, followed by a couple of clicks of regeneration. A few clicks of enhancement, followed by a couple clicks of perplex. Okay. Not too bad, especially for only 45 points. Alright, next up we've got Wolverine. His new costume, which is kind of a combination of his more recent yellow and blue costume and then the classic orange and brown costume. Note the fact we got brown on the leg. The brown on the legs is. So Wolverine. This Wolverine comes in at either 100 points or 50 points. Has the X-Men team ability as well as the Horsemen, X-Force, X-Men, and Future keywords. He also has improved movement, ignores hindering terrain, and a trait, adamantium laced bones and mutant healing factor. He grants him toughness, and he takes a maximum of 3 damage from attacks. And at the beginning of your turn, you get to heal him a click. Okay. Looking at his dial, we open up with a couple clicks of charge, followed by a click of sidestep, 2 more clicks of charge, another click of sidestep, and finally one final click of charge. On damage, we open up with a few clicks of precision strike. Then we get a few clicks of Blade's Claw's Fangs, followed by another click of precision strike. He's got Indomitable, built-in willpower, a couple clicks of combat reflexes, and then a whole bunch of clicks of super senses. On damage, we open up with a few clicks of exploit weakness, which will go nicely with that charge, followed by a few clicks of battle fury. Okay, alright. Not too shabby. Now, as I mentioned, we did get a Wolverine team-up card as well. Now, the team-up cards, it's basically just a character card, but it has an additional trait. You still have the same dial, same powers, but the additional trait is team-up. Apocalypse, A, Cardinal, North, Rasputin, Zorn. Exactly 3 listed friendly characters are on the map. Wolverine and listed friendly characters deal penetrating damage when attacking. After revealing forces, you may replace character cards with their alternates. You can't choose a team-up card if your starting characters share a name. So you got a swarm team with a whole bunch of a specific generic, can't use it. If you're using some of the versions of X-23 from Fantastic Forces, and you can't use another Wolverine one because, yeah, and this Wolverine you can't use a team up. But yeah, basically, if you have two or more characters with the same name, you can't use that. Or 2 or more figures with the same name, regardless of them being different sets, different characters, so on and so forth. You can't use a team up card. Next up, we've got Rogue. Anna Marie LeBeau. That's right. She finally made an honest man out of Gambit. Mainly because, well, they were ready for a wedding between Colossus and Shadowcat. Or Colossus and, well, now Kate Pryde. And Kate basically changed her mind. So Remy proposed to Rogue. She accepted. They just said, "Hey, we just got. You want to marry someone? Marry us." To the rabbi, and the rabbi did. So, yeah. Anyways, Rogue comes in at 90 points or 60 points. Has the X-Men team ability, as well as the Excalibur, X-Men, and Mystical keywords. We get 2 traits. First off is Excalibur, Mystical Protectors, which is a shared keyword for the Excalibur the members of the new Excalibur team. Mystic's team ability, but only triggers during range attacks. Rogue has protected Mystic's team ability. Then we get, turns out I don't need the gloves. As a free action, choose an adjacent character and a standard power they can use. To your next turn, Rogue can use that power and has that character's printed range value. So she could be standing next to, say, a figure with an 8 range and penetrating psychic blast and say, "Oh, hey, I'm going to use that." And, yeah. Also, note that it simply says adjacent character. Not friendly character, not opposing character. So, friendly or opposing. Doesn't matter. Anyways, looking at our dial, we open up with a few clicks of hypersonic speed, followed by a few clicks of charge. On attack, we open up with a few clicks of super strength, followed by a few clicks of steel energy. Defensively speaking, we got Indomitable. Again, as she should. This is Rogue, after all. A few clicks of invulnerability, followed by a few clicks of toughness. Then we get a few clicks of Battle Fury spliced throughout the dial. Personally, not too fond of the fact that she doesn't have none of her super strength clicks and charge clicks overlap. Makes the super strength not as useful in my opinion. She can still do knockback, but with hypersonic, but she can't do an object attack. So, not that it isn't useful, but it's not. It could be more useful if everything is switched. Okay, so moving on to our third booster. Got something else that's all wrapped up. Okay, well, let's see what we got. What we got here? Our character cards. Looks like. Do we get our first duplicate? I think we did. Yeah. Okay, we got another of the same Psylocke from earlier. Then we've got Beast. Sunspot. The generic Sinister clone. And we got someone wrapped up in bubble wrap. Is this... Okay, alright. Remember how I mentioned we'd talk about Krakoan Revival eventually? Well, no time like the present, I guess. Seeing as how we got one of the members of the Krakoan Quiet Council for Storm. Okay. All right. So, we've already seen Psylocke. Let's take a look at Beast. A little Hank McCoy. Hank comes in at 50 points, has the X-Men team ability, as well as the X-Force, X-Men, and Scientist keywords, and improved movement ignores elevated terrain. We also have a trait of the mutant CIA, giving him stealth, improved movement, and improved targeting, hindering terrain. It's the espionage trait from Captain America and the Avengers. Looking at his dial, we get a few clicks of charge, followed by a few clicks of sidestep. Sadly, nothing on attack. We get a couple clicks of toughness, a couple clicks of combat reflexes, a couple clicks of super senses. On damage, we start off going back and forth between leadership and perplex, followed by, and then at the end we get a couple clicks of close combat expert. Okay, not too shabby. Yeah, in House of X, or in the aftermath of House of X, Beast is part of the new the Krakoan X-Force, which is described as being kind of like the mutant CIA. Next up, we've got a Sinister clone. Because, you know, Mr. Sinister, he does love making himself some clones. Sinister clone comes in at 25 points, has the Battle World Other, Marauders, and Scientist keyword, as well as a trait. Which one? There are so many of us, granting him shape change. Looking at his dial, we get a full 3 clicks of stealth, 2 clicks of toughness, and a beginning and final click of perplex. Not too shabby. Nice little extra backup piece for the Marauders, either the old or new ones. Next up, we've got Sunspot. This is a more powerful version compared to the one we saw earlier. This Sunspot comes in at 75 points or 35 points, has the Team Player Wildcard ability, as well as the AIM, Avengers, New Mutants, and X-Men keywords. We got a trait Absorb Energy. When Sunspot is targeted by a range attack, after resolutions, heal him 1 click and... Okay, same as Bishop's. Alright, that's cool. Looking at his dial, we open up with a click of Running Shot, followed by a couple clicks of Sidestep. Then we get a few clicks of Charge. On attack, we open up with a few clicks of Penetrating Psychic Blast, followed by a few clicks of Poison. Defense, he's got Indomitable, built-in willpower, which is always nice. We start off with some Initial Deflection, followed by Combat Reflexes. And then on damage, we have 4 out of 6 clicks with the special power, financing many teams these days, granting leadership once per turn for all friendly characters with this power. When another friendly character that shares the keyword is given a second action token. After resolutions, you may roll a d6. On a 4 through a 6, heal that character 1 click. Okay, alright. Finally, let's look at Council Member Storm. She looks great. Love that sculpt. And she's staying in place, unlike the Xavier School one, which I have taped to its base. Storm comes in at 85 points, has the X-Men team ability as well as the Marauders, Quiet Council, X-Men, and Pirate keywords. She also has improved movement, improved targeting, ignores characters. We have the Krakoan Revival trait, which we'll look at here, which simply says refer to the Krakoan Revival Bystander card. We'll look at that here in a second. Next up we have My Best. No, the main bolt is still charging. When Storm hits with a range attack, after resolutions, give a hit character a Lightning Bolt token. When Storm charges a single character with a Lightning Bolt token with a range attack, she modifies damage by +3. At the end of your turn, remove all Lightning Bolt tokens that weren't given this turn. Okay, alright. And she has 2 targets as well. Okay, so looking at her dial, we get a long chunk of running shot, followed by a couple clicks of sidestep, an equally long chunk of energy explosion, followed by a couple clicks of precision strike. She's got Indomitable, some toughness, a couple clicks of combat reflexes, some leadership, some perplex, and some close combat expert. All right, not too shabby. Okay, so Krakoan Revival. So this is kind of a big thing with the within the House of X story. Mutants, death is no longer the end for mutants. I mean, don't get me. Yeah, I know. Who hasn't come back from the dead on the X-Men, right? Well, now it's a little different. It's now normal, and no one even jokes about it. It's like, yeah, okay, you know. Basically, Sinister has has DNA samples from every mutant on the planet, and Xavier has mental backups for every mutant on Cerebro. So the 5 then come along and they basically make clones of a dead X-Man, and then Xavier uploads the consciousness to the clone husk, and boom, there you go, resurrected mutant. So how do you do that in HeroClix? So the whole thing is you want to KO your opponent. Krakoan Revival. For all characters with this trait, when a friendly standard character with the X-Men keyword and a lower point value will be KO'd by an opposing effect, you may instead choose to turn that character to its starting click this game and place them adjacent to a friendly character that can use this trait. If you do, your opponent scores that character and generates a bystander on this card of their choice adjacent to any of their characters. Your opponent then scores 10 points for every bystander that they generated this game via this trait, regardless of source. Okay. And so we've got an Orcus Soldier who has Running Shot, Penetrating Psychic Blast, Inertial Deflection, and Enhancement. And then we've got Coven Akaba, who has Stealth, Precision Strike, Barrier, and Probability Control. Then we've got Horde Culture, which has Sidestep, Incapacitate, Defend, and Support. Phobos Armor, which has Force Blast, Energy Explosion, Impervious, and Outwit. Then we've got Skinless Assassin, which has Flurry, Blaze Claws, Fangs, Combat Reflexes, and Shape Change. And finally, PhD Apes. We got Charge, Quake, Toughness, and Perplex. Okay, all right, that's one way to do it. On the downside, because of that, there are at least a few generics in this we're not getting out of this set. Namely, I was expecting to see some Orcus bystanders, some Orcus generics. But, oh well. Alright, moving on to our 4th booster. Oh, wow. All right. Got ourselves another council member. We got Rachel Gray, another Beast, Chamber, Egg, and Magneto. And you know what, Magneto? Magneto's kind of neato. Yeah, I went there. Sue me. Alright, so definitely be looking at Rachel Gray. Or Rachel Summers. Or just Phoenix. Or Prestige. Well, at that point, she was Rachel Gray. She went by Rachel Gray. We already looked at Beast. So we'll put him over here with Psylocke. We've got Egg. Chamber. And Magneto. Alright, so let's start things off with Rachel Gray. Looking very much like her mother. She went from being calling herself Phoenix or Rachel Summers to calling herself Rachel Gray after the events of House of M. Mainly because she was really pissed off at her dad for cheating on Jean with Emma Frost, so she said, screw it, I'm Jean Grey's daughter, not Scott Summers' daughter. Anyways, Rachel comes in at 40 points as the X-Men team ability, as well as the Excalibur, Phoenix Force, Starjammers, X-Men, and future keywords. We then get a couple of, looking at her dial, we get a couple clicks of Force Blast, followed by a couple clicks of Sidestep, full dial of Telekinesis, a couple clicks of Super Senses, followed by a couple clicks of Initial Deflection, a couple clicks of Enhancement, followed by a couple clicks of Range Combat Expert. Okay, alright. For 40 points, that's really not bad. We've already seen Beast, so let's take a look at Chamber. Chamber was one of the new characters introduced in Generation X. His whole thing is he's a young British mutant who, when his powers manifested, basically from here, right under his, from his lower lip down to about the middle of his chest, exploded out with psionic energy. So, Chamber comes in at 35 points. He has the X-Men team ability, as well as the Generation X, New Mutants, and X-Men keywords. We get 2 traits. Here's the pacifism. Shape change. Chamber can't attack unless a friendly character was attacked since your last turn, or he is the only character on your force. Okay. Then we get, my body is just a shell for psionic energy. When Chamber is KO'd by an opponent's attack, after resolutions, he'll deal 1 penetrating damage to each character within 3 squares. Protected Pulse Wave. Meaning that if he's KO'd from Pulse Wave, it still goes off. And it deals damage to each character. Not each opposing character, but each character. So you may, if it looks like he might be on the lower end of his dial, you might want to keep everyone away from him. Speaking of his dial, let's take a look at it. We get a couple clicks of Stealth, followed by a couple clicks of Running Shot. On attack, we open up with a couple clicks of Poison, followed by a couple clicks of Penetrating Psychic Blast. Defensively speaking, we've got Toughness, followed by Initial Deflection, and then on damage, we open up and have just a couple clicks of Enhancement. For 35 points, honestly, that's really not bad. Like, at all. Next up, let's take a look at Egg. Egg used to be known as Gold Balls. And in fact, WizKids reused the sculpt that they made for him way back in X-Men's Xavier's school a few years ago. As I recall, Egg is also a friend of Miles Morales. But anyways, Egg comes in at 25 points, has the X-Men team ability, as well as the 5 and X-Men keywords. He's got a trait, the 5, Egg. When a friendly character is chosen for the Krakoan Revival trait, after resolutions, you may generate 3 light objects in a single square adjacent to that character. Okay. Looking at his dial, we get a couple clicks of Sidestep, followed by a couple clicks of Force Blast. We get some mid-late dial Precision Strike on attack. We get a couple clicks of Barrier on defense, and on damage, we have the special power Eggs to Spare. Free action. Generate a light object. Okay. Alright, now Magneto. One, I love his new costume. I love the sculpt. Yeah, I'm going to be using this figure a lot, so get used to seeing it. Magneto comes in at 150 points, 90 points or 25 points. Has the Brotherhood of Mutants and X-Men team abilities. The Brotherhood of Mutants team ability, when this character hits an opposing character with an attack roll of 10, 11, or 12, after resolutions, remove an action token from this character. He also has the Acolytes, Brotherhood of Mutants, Quiet Council, X-Men, Deity, Politician, and Ruler keywords, as well as improved targeting ignores characters. At 90 points, he has the Krakoan Revival trait as well. So, now you might be wondering, why does he have the Deity keyword? At the end of the first issue of House of X, he states to a group of dignitaries that are visiting one of the Krakoan embassies that humanity has new gods now, referring to mutant kind. It's not a nice little nod to the dialogue from the actual comic. So, taking his dial, starting from the top at 150 points, half the dial is running shot on speed. The other half is sidestep. Then you get some energy explosion, random clicks of energy explosion and telekinesis on attack. Defensively speaking, he's got Indomitable. He opens up with a special defense power, executing Moira's plan, giving him inertial deflection and mastermind, but he may choose a friendly character within 4 squares on line of fire instead of adjacent. Okay. And then you get some regular mastermind, special power, inertial deflection, and special power. Damage, we open up with a special power, breaking human norms. Leadership, free. If no other friendly characters, it's a retaliation ability. You can play, but if no other friendly characters has been placed this turn, choose an opposing character within range and attack Magneto or damage a friendly character with the X-Men keyword since your last turn. Place Magneto such that he can make a range attack targeting the chosen character, then do so, targeting only that character. This is also why he's a 25-point starting dial. And basically, the clicks with the his retaliation power are his start clicks. Then we get a few clicks after his first retaliation click. We get a few clicks of probability control. After his second one, we get a couple clicks of perplex, followed by a couple clicks of outwit. And then his last one is his last click. Not too shabby, I gotta say. Alright, so... Man, we are wandering through this sucker, ain't we? Oh, shoot. May have to bring it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, alright, so Sage, Polaris, Moira X, non-prime version of Vulcan. And another shard. Okay. Okay, so we're going to start off with Sage, once we get her on her top click. Now, Sage is not exactly a stranger to HeroClix, it's just that she's been done so little, and I think she's also a character a lot of writers aren't really sure what to do with. Her powers are vague and undefined, and not exactly undefined, but yeah. As I recall, it's like she can basically parse information of all kinds, and she can also activate secondary mutations. She was a huge part in the Extreme X-Men series way back in the day, and turns out she's long been a spy for Charles Xavier within the Hellfire Club. So Sage comes in at 40 points as the X-Men team ability, as well as the X-Men or X-Force and X-Men keywords. She has a mutant CIA trait, and looking at her dial, we have 4 clicks of sidestep, an opening click of telekinesis, a couple clicks of willpower, followed by a couple clicks of super senses, and then 4 clicks of the special speed power or special damage power, team logistics and coordination, giving her leadership and outwit. Okay, all right, not too shabby. Next up, we've got Polaris. Another reused sculpt. Thanks, WizKids. I didn't want a new Polaris sculpt at all. This is the same sculpt that's been used for Polaris since Wolverine and the X-Men. 7 years they've been using this sculpt. It's not even a friggin' costume anymore. Anyway. Right. Polaris comes in at 50 points as the X-Men team ability, as well as the Starjammer's X-Factor and X-Men keywords, and the trait My Father's Legacy. Once per turn, when an opposing character is placed, after resolutions, you may place that character up to 2 squares away from their current position. Okay, alright. We get her dial. We get a couple clicks of running shot, followed by a few clicks of sidestep. On attack, we have a few clicks of special power, magnetic pulse, which grants her energy explosion, and knockback. This is followed by a couple clicks of telekinesis. Defensively speaking, we open up with some inertial deflection, followed by a couple clicks of super senses. And finally, on damage, we have 2 clicks at the end of her dial of ranged combat expert. Interesting. We've already seen Shard, so now let's take a look at Moira X. Moira X, or better known as Moira McTaggart. So Moira McTaggart's a longtime ally of the X-Men. Occasionally, kind of sort of romantic interest for Xavier or Banshee, depending upon the comic. But one of the big things that was revealed in House of X is that she's a mutant. She basically her life is basically Groundhog Day. Well, Groundhog life. She dies. She goes back to she starts back over in the womb with full knowledge of the life she just led. But according to Destiny in her third lifetime, she doesn't have an infinite number. She only has about 10, maybe 11. And right now, she's on her 10th. But she has seen mutant kind fall quite a few times. I want to say in lifetimes 4 through 9, so that's 6 lifetimes in a row she's seen mutant kind fall. And it's never pretty. So this is apparently, as Magneto's card mentioned Moira's plan, well, her, Magneto, and Xavier are enacting a plan. Anyway, Moira X comes at 75 points, has the Brotherhood team ability as well as the Brotherhood of Mutants, X-Men, Future, Past, and Scientist keywords. We get 2 traits. I have learned from my many lives. Moira X can use the standard powers printed on her card for lower click numbers, her previous lives. The Uncanny Life of Moira X is the second trait. Moira X isn't a standard character, can't be equipped or a pilot. She takes a maximum of 1 damage from attacks, can't be healed, and can't be chosen for Mastermind or Krakoan Revival. She also is protected, and she is protected from Pulse Wave, so yeah. That trait has protected Pulse Wave. So Pulse Wave won't affect any of that. Looking at her dial, we gotta click Stealth. Click 1 is Stealth, Incapacitate, Super Senses, and Support. 2 is Running Shot, Precision Strike, Inertial Deflection, and Enhancement. 3 is Charge, Blaze Claws, Fangs, Combat Reflexes, and Exploit Weakness. 4 is Sidestep, Smoke Cloud, Willpower, and Probability Control. 5 is Force Blast, Inertial Deflection, Barrier, and Outwit. 6 is Plasticity, Quake, Toughness, and Leadership. Okay, alright. Interesting. Not too bad, not too bad. Next up, we've got Vulcan. Gabriel Summers, the 3rd Summers brother, or at least depending on what's revealed in the upcoming X-Men Legacy title, a Summers brother. But Vulcan comes in at 140 points or 75 points, has the Cosmic Power and it's the Power Cosmic team ability, and X-Men team abilities. We got X-Men and Cosmic keywords, as well as the trait Omega level energy manipulation, but he can be disrupted. When Vulcan is hit, after resolutions, give him an energy disruption token. Modify his defense minus X, where X is the number of energy disruption tokens. At the end of your turn, remove the tokens and heal him that many clicks. Okay, alright. Looking at his dial, we open up with a few clicks of special speed power. I am the universe. Hypersonic speed. When Vulcan uses it after resolutions, he may make a close attack targeting a character that hasn't been hit this turn. Okay. Some running shot, then another I am the universe, a couple clicks of sidestep, and a final click of I am the universe. On attack, we open up with a precision strike, followed by some penetrating psychic blast, followed by some pulse wave, followed by another click of precision strike. Defense, impervious, followed by invulnerability, followed by invincible. Okay. Opening click of Battle Fury. Then get a few clicks about Wit interspersed, and then a final click of Battle Fury. Alright, interesting. And I'm not complaining about the lack of Indomitable or Willpower because it's included in Cosmic Power. So, alright. Moving on to our next booster. Kind of surprised we haven't seen a second super rare yet, but well, maybe we'll get one now out of this next booster. And yeah, that we did. We sure did. Okay. So let's see, we've got the common Wolverine. Alright. The uncommon Forge. Seems to be, his dial seems to be a little loose. And our other super rare, our second super rare. Richter, as well as another Sinister clone, and another of the common Sunspot. Okay. Before I get started, I'm going to take a quick swig of water because I'm a little. Yeah. Alright. Richter, Forge, Wolverine. So we'll start off with Wolverine. And yeah, it looks the same as the one we saw previously, but this is the common, not the uncommon. See? This is the present day Wolverine, not the Moira 9 Wolverine. So this Wolverine comes with 60 points, has the X-Men team ability as well as the Weapon X, X-Force, X-Men, Animal, and Assassin keywords, as well as the Mutant CIA trait, just like everyone else from X-Force. Looking at his dial, we open up with a special speed power. Weapon X reject, giving him charge and flurry. This thing gives way to regular charge and then regular flurry. On attack, we open up with a few clicks of Precision Strike, followed by a few clicks of Blade Claw's Fangs. On defense, he's got Indomitable. Opens up with Combat Reflexes, followed by a couple clicks of Super Senses, followed by a click of Regeneration. On damage, we have a long chunk there of Exploit Weakness. Though the fact that two of those clicks of Exploit Weakness coincide with his Flurry kind of rubs me a little the wrong way, because you can't use Flurry and Exploit Weakness together, sadly. And then on those last two clicks, we have some Battle Fury. Okay, alright. Kind of how I kind of like to do, kind of like to see it is, you know, I kind of feel like Battle Fury should kind of sometimes be in the middle. Like, oh, you know, but I can also see it being at the end. You know, he's taking a lot of damage, so he goes berserk. We've seen Sunspot, we've seen the Sinister clone, so on to Forge. Maker. I don't know when he ever wore a black and white suit, but whatever. Anyway, Forge here comes in at 30 points. Has the X Factor, X Force, X-Men, Mysticals, Scientist, and Soldier keywords. Looking at his dial, we get a couple clicks of Stealth, followed by a couple clicks of Sidestep. We get some late dial Incapacitate on attack. We get a couple clicks of Toughness, followed by a couple clicks of Willpower on defense. On damage, we open up with a special power. With unlimited energy and storage, I can build anything. As a free action, unique modifier, choose attack or damage. Adjacent friendly characters modify the chosen value +1 this turn. Okay, alright. Then we get a couple clicks of Ranged Combat Expert after that. Alright, not too shabby. Alright, next up we've got Richter. Now, Richter's we haven't seen in clicks in ages. Since, I think, Wolverine and the X-Men, actually. Richter started off as a member, as one of the mutants rescued by X Factor. He joined the New Mutants. He would later join X-Force. He lost his powers after M-Day and joined X Factor Investigations. While with X Factor Investigations, he rekindled his friendship with former X-Force teammate Shatterstar, and their friendship blossomed into a romantic relationship between the two, which sadly they've since split up. But yeah, Richter has Earthquake powers. Since House of X, he's joined the new Excalibur lineup, and has become something of a druid, actually, which is kind of neat. So Richter comes in at 40 points. He has the Excalibur, New Mutants, X Factor, X Force, X-Men, and Mystical keywords, as well as improved movement, ignores hindering terrain and outdoor blocking terrain. We got two traits: the Excalibur Mystical Protectors trait that we saw on Rogue, as well as I know a thing or two about moving Earth. Barrier. Barrier is free, but only to generate one blocking terrain marker. When Richter uses Barrier after resolutions, you may remove one blocking terrain marker adjacent to the generated markers. Okay. Looking at his dial, we get a couple clicks of charge, followed by a few clicks of sidestep. We get a full run of the special attack power, I am everywhere you have ever stood, which gives him Quake. When he uses it, he may also target opposing characters within range that are adjacent to squares of blocking terrain, and his range is 6. He doesn't need line of fire for them either, so... Then on defense, we open up with a few clicks of Super Senses, followed by a couple clicks of Willpower. And then on damage, we get some late dial Perplex. Okay, alright. Now, remember, the Excalibur Mystical Protectors thing also gives him the Mystic's Team ability, but only against range attacks, and gives him protected from the Mystic's Team ability. Alright. So, last booster for this video. See if we get ourselves a super rare, or maybe even or who knows, maybe even a chase. Probably not, but you know, hey. The possibility exists. Okay. And no. Nope, nope, nope. Okay. Alright, so... got Corsair, Dr. Aaliyah Gregor, and we've got Armor. Oh, damn it. Activation clicks, really? And we also got another Tempest and another Sage. Alright, so okay, so we're going to start off with Dr. Aaliyah Gregor. Now, Dr. Aaliyah Gregor here is a member of Orcus. I think she was also she may have been part of AIM as well? Yeah. Orcus is the new anti-mutant, is a conglomeration, an anti-mutant group consisting of people from former members of AIM, former members of SHIELD, former members of Hammer, Hydra, so on and so forth. In fact, she stated she's not too happy about the fact that there are former Hydra members involved. Kind of I may be bad, but even I don't like Nazis. She comes in at 20 points. Has the AIM, Sentinel, and Scientist keywords. Looking at her dial, which is short, understandably short, we have 3 clicks of Stealth, 2 clicks of Incapacitate, a click of Smoke Cloud, a couple clicks of Willpower, and then on damage we have a special power, Science Commander of Orcus, which gives her leadership and a unique modifier. Friendly bystanders within 5 squares modify their combat values by +1. Okay. Now, to be fair, I really wish we had gotten some Orcus generics. Orcus Security, Orcus Engineer. The Orcus Engineer could have the same sculpt as Dr. Gregor. Her husband was one of the security members, and the generic security, and him could have the same sculpt, or they could have been prime, whatever. But yeah. Oh well, they decided that's not what they wanted to do. Next up, we've got Corsair. Now, Corsair is the father of Scott and is the father of Scott, Alex, and Gabriel Summers, Cyclops, Havoc, and Vulcan. And he is a space pirate, leader of the Starjammers, captain of the Starjammer, and a thorn in the side of the Shi'ar Empire. Comes in. Also, we haven't seen him in Clix since Critical Mass, I believe, which was well over a decade ago. He comes in at 60 points. He's got the Starjammers, pirate, and soldier keywords, as well as improved targeting, ignores hindering terrain. And we have a trait, leader of the swashbuckling space pirates. Leadership, probability control. Once per turn, you may re-roll the attack roll of a friendly character with the Starjammer's keyword, which is separate from prob. So, you can basically be like, okay, prob. Oh, damn, it's crit miss this time. Okay, well, re-roll that. Or, prob. Okay, all right, that hit. And then, oh, no, the next one missed. Oh, re-roll that. All right, looking at his dial, we've got a few clicks of running shot, followed by a few clicks of charge, energy explosion, followed by Blade's Claw's Fangs, initial deflection, followed by combat reflexes, enhancement, followed by close combat expert. It's kind of, he's got basically it's cut into two blocks. You've got a range block and a close block, which is actually kind of works for a pirate, really. You figure he runs in shooting, and then when he gets in close, he pulls out his sword and starts slicing. Okay, all right, I dig it. I definitely dig it. Next up, we've got Armor, our last figure for the video. Armor was introduced back during Joss Whedon's run on Astonishing X-Men. This is her second figure in HeroClix. I kind of wish they'd waited till the next X-Men set because she is part of the new Sword title, but hey, can't always get what you want, right? Anyways, Armor comes in at 45 points, has the X-Men team ability as well as the New Mutants, X-Men, and, well, Armor keywords. Looking at her dial, we open up with an activation click, giving her Earthbound neutralized and support. Then, when she's pushed, you get a couple of clicks of charge, followed by a couple of clicks of sidestep, a couple of clicks of super strength, followed by a couple of clicks of Blade's Claw's Fangs. 4 clicks of the special defense power. We help each other. That's what we do. Gives her defend and invulnerability and giant reach of 2. She also has, as you can see, Indomitable. Then on her second click and her last click, she has on damage. She has a special power. Everyone get behind me. These are stop clicks. When this click is revealed after resolutions, you may place Armor in a square within 3 squares in line of fire. Okay, all right, that's cool. Alrighty, so that's it for this part of the unboxing. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock saying, live long and rock hard, everybody.